Higgins.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I've listened to the debate so far, and it's quite obvious that there is a divergence of opinion. On the one hand, you have most of the people here who are sensible people who realise, in fact, that we are the custodians of the current environment and that the next generation will actually indict us unless we do something about the problem. I listened to Madame Delange, and she is absolutely right in relation to Mr. Hellman from the UKIP party. He is part of a growing minority who said there is no such thing as climate change, that nothing has changed and that there is no need to take any steps in order to rectify the situation. What world does he live in? We have floods where we never had floods before. We have tornadoes where we never had tornadoes before. We have storms where we never had storms before. We have earthquakes. The ice cap is melting, and at the same time Mr. Hellman and his UKIP colleagues, as always, are running from reality and are whistling past the graveyard, because the graveyard is there to see. We have a problem. If you look at the statistics, for example, 10 years ago we had the 1992 Earth Summit, and if you look at the statistics in the meantime, since then, however, global emissions have risen by 48%, 300 hectares of forest have been cleared, and the population of the world has increased by 1.6 billion people. And despite a reduction in poverty, 1 in 6 people are malnourished. I agree with the Commissioner. He has a very difficult job. There are conflicting commercial interests. Countries are looking to themselves and their own selfish independent interests rather than looking at the bigger question, that is the global question. So I wish you well, Commissioner. I know there has been a lot of criticism, but I think this is a step forward, and I know that you have the necessary ability and the will, the commitment and the determination to ensure that you will be the Commissioner that will get universal agreement in relation to how we go forward. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, President.
Herr Kollege. Frau Kollegin Gurmai-Zitter.
Okay. When assessing the outcome of the Rio+20 conference on sustainable development, there is not much place for optimism. It is more than clear that austerity measures implied by the current economic crisis are being matched by a recession in human rights and ambitious environmental policies. It is not